Ask your average NBA fan who is in their top 25 players in the league at the moment. They'll say athletic monsters who score the ball at a huge clip like Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. And people will talk about scorers such as James Harden and Steph Curry. And then bring up young up-and-comers like Giannis, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Kristaps Porzingis and Karl Anthony Towns. But one name that I feel is constantly ignored in these conversations and is perennially underrated is Nikola Jokic. This video will detail just how good the giant man from Serbia is and how he could lead the Nuggets to the playoffs and even a top 4 seed in the absolutely stacked Western Conference this season. And let's start off with why I think Jokic is an underrated player. The biggest thing that has led to this, in my opinion, is his unathletic looking body. If someone showed you a photo of Jokic and you had no idea who he was, I doubt many would guess that he was a professional athlete or NBA player. He doesn't have incredible muscular definition, is slightly overweight, and isn't what most expect when they hear NBA center. This is compounded by the fact that Jokic plays for the Denver Nuggets. The team is not in a big market, and even when they had Melo lead them to the conference finals, they didn't get enormous amounts of media attention. Therefore, Nikola doesn't get much time on national television, and a lot of casual NBA fans haven't seen him play a huge amount. But this is the season that I expect that to stop, and for him to start getting the recognition that he deserves. Jokic will make the All-Star team this season, is in my predicted All-NBA teams, and will lead the Nuggets to the playoffs. And when people see him in these situations, they will appreciate him for the incredible offensive talent that he is. Jokic is the most skilled big man in the entire league. And I don't say that he might be, I mean that he is the most skilled big in the league. No one else can match his scoring, shooting, handle and passing ability in totality. The only possible competition is Kevin Durant, but for the purposes of this video, we will consider him a wing, despite him being 7 foot tall and most definitely big. The first thing to start with is Jokic's shooting. It embodies the modern day big man so much. If you want to succeed as a big in the modern era, you need to be able to shoot 3-pointers in order to consistently space the floor and not hinder your team's spacing. It opens up the floor so much for these players' ability to drive and can drag rim protectors like Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid away from protecting the rim for their team. And Jokic has always been able to stroke it from deep from the moment that he stepped into the NBA. But last season he doubled his attempts per game and raised his shooting percentage from 32.4% to 39.6% from 3-point land. This kind of increase in volume, whilst also raising the accuracy with which he hit shots, is simply incredible. To go on top of this, Jokic also shot 57% from corner threes last season. But the majority of his shots come from the top of the key and not the corners. And this is the key for Jokic. As for him to be at his best, he should operate at the top of the key and in the elbows and post as much as possible. This is because it allows him the space and vision he needs to execute his passing and for him to drive into the paint as well. So many of Denver's possessions simply start with Jokic catching the ball at the top of the key and executing a dribble handoff with Jamal Murray or Gary Harris. He can then cut into the paint like a pick and roll or back out to the 3-point line at the top of the key once again. When he dives into the paint, he is so effective at catching the ball and finishing or passing it out of the double team. And I think this surprises a lot of people as he doesn't have the athleticism to leap up for lobs and dunks on other players. But he makes up for this with his incredible hands and soft touch. Nikola simply runs with his hands up high and the ability to catch the ball at such heights without losing touch of it. Then, when he catches the ball, he is so skilled that he almost never turns it over. A lot of big men don't have the best dribbling skills or their footwork is lackluster, and if they can't catch the ball and immediately go up for a shot, they risk turning it over or traveling. Not Jokic. Basically ever. He is simply magical down low. He can land on either foot and turn over either shoulder for a move and uses this to spin away from oncoming defenders. And now this may sound easy, but against NBA level defenses, you need all of these moves to be committed to muscle memory in order to get the separation required. Nikola can shoot hook shots with both hands, from the baseline and in the paint, and can also hit a fadeaway jumper off either foot. Having these series of moves allows him to evade recovering defenses if he can't finish quickly off a pick and roll catch. If Jokic fades to the 3-point line, he reminds me a lot of Al Horford. He either drains the 3 with his beautiful release or pump fakes his defender into the air and then puts the ball on the deck and gets into the paint. This all happens in slow motion and is a part of why I think people underrate him. When guards like James Harden do this, they do it at a rapid pace and look extremely athletic doing it. Jokic does this in slow motion, but it is just as effective, if not more effective. Nikola is doing this against opposing big men, and they don't have the balance, speed, or practice to guard this kind of move. And when he does get into the paint, unlike if he was a guard, there is no big man there to guard the rim, as Nikola Jokic has just pumped back them in the air and they are already behind him. This move allows Jokic to get them in the air and then easily drive past them and into the paint. Nikola can pull up there for a mid-range jumper or for a short floater in the lane. The ability to do both of these things is incredible for a guy of his size, and it is a thing of awkward beauty to see Jokic waltzing into the lane. The last of Jokic's real offensive scoring skills is from the right block in the post. Nikola can post up on the left block also, but he takes most of his touches in this area. He's so big in terms of size and strength that he can post up low and create for a little hook shot or simply bully his way to the rim. And he has the skill to also catch the ball further from the basket and face up. When he does face up, it is an absolute nightmare for any big defenders attempting to guard him. Jokic has such a soft touch on his mid-range jumper that they have to respect it, and he can shoot with the same efficiency after 2, 3, or even 4 pump fakes. And just like if defenders bite out on the 3-point line, if they bite on the mid-range jumper fake, he is even closer to the basket for an easy score. As discussed before, Jokic has a wider range of post moves over both shoulders that he can finish with both hands. But what I didn't discuss was that Nikola also has a wider range of counter moves. He has a fantastic up and under that he uses to get to the rim, and can spin back the way he came after pump faking a hook shot also. His feet stability and dexterity with his hands is off the chain, and he uses it to confuse defenders and create an opening for an easy shot. All of these skills contribute to his incredibly efficient scoring game. Last season, Jokic shot 50% from the field, 39.6% from deep, and 85% from the free throw line. It would not be unrealistic to expect Jokic to join the 50-40-90 club at some point in his career. Plus, we have to look at Jokic's season last year in halves. For the first half of the season, Denver Nuggets coach Michael Malone tried to implement his own style of system and played Jokic less minutes than usual. The ball ran more through the hands of the guards and Paul Millsap, and even at times through Mason Plumlee. The Nuggets got off to a rocky start because of this, and their offensive efficiency was way down throughout this period of time compared to the last season. During this time, Jokic averaged 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists on 47% shooting, 33% from deep, and 86% from the free throw line. Not bad, but not the spectacular output that fans had expected. And many of these fans called for Malone to be fired, as he clearly wasn't utilising the skill set of Jokic properly. On January 21st, Michael Malone announced that he would be reverting back to letting the offense flow through Jokic and wouldn't call as many plays from the sidelines. From this day onwards, Jokic averaged 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists a game on 52% shooting, with 46% from deep and 84% from the free throw line. This was an absolutely mammoth improvement, and he was one of the most dominant and efficient offensive players in the league. The offense through Jokic is simply spectacular. As I have already outlined in this video, he can do everything on the court in terms of scoring, but it's his passing that makes him truly transcendent. Jokic can whip passes across the court, behind his back, behind his head, and over the full distance of the basketball court. But for me, it is the simple reads he makes that blow me away. Nikola seems to know exactly when he should pass and how hard he needs to pass it to pull off the pass effectively. This is especially apparent when a guard throws him the ball in the post and immediately cuts back door. Jokic can hit them with a pass over his head, a bounce pass, or a simple handoff. He and Gary Harris have developed an exceptional chemistry on this play and use it regularly in games. But Nikola can hit every player on his team with cuts, and has also shown the ability to hit cross-course passes nicely. And he is willing to pass, and this attitude is contagious on the team, and when they are on, they whip the ball around the court like few other teams in the league. So why is such a gifted offensive player so underrated around the league? People like to criticize his defense, but I think that his defense is actually average, if not slightly good. These critics like to point to one stat usually, the field goal percentage that he allows at the rim. They also point to the fact that Mason Plumlee concedes a lower percentage and is therefore a better defender. But Denver was actually a better defensive team with Jokic on the court rather than Plumlee, and have been better defensively in every single one of Nikola's seasons with him on the court when compared to him off the court. So the advanced stats actually point to him being a positive defender. How is that despite him looking like a bad defender then? Well, Jokic is good at 3 things on the defensive end of the court. He is a fantastic positional rebounder, stops opponents getting to the rim, and doesn't foul his opponents either. This really all boils down to Nikola's high basketball IQ. He seemingly knows exactly where to be to stop opposing offenses' attacks at the rim. He deters players from driving and shuts down passing lanes by specifically being in the right position to do so. This results in teams simply shooting less in the paint when he is on the court, a fantastic strategy for limiting opposing teams. And if players do manage to get into the paint, Jokic continues to play to his strengths and not theirs. He rarely leaves the ground and plays with arms straight in the air. This means he doesn't foul on pump fakes and very rarely fouls at all. It also leaves him in fantastic position to grab the rebound if the player misses. Jokic also doesn't chase rebounds. Instead, he simply boxes out and lets his teammates grab the rebound if they are in the best position for it. When these three things are combined, it reduces the amount of attempts players make in the paint against Jokic and reduces the amount of fouls and therefore scoring opportunities at the free throw line. And when it's all said and done, Jokic is exceptional at making his team a better rebounding team and ending possessions earlier. Jokic is a complete player, and I'm incredibly excited to see what he can do on the court next season, with Malone giving him the reins of the offense for presumably the entire year. And Nikola Jokic will have a full arsenal of offensive players to go with him. At point guard, they'll have Jamal Murray in his third season in the NBA, at two guard, Gary Harris, and at power forward, Paul Millsap, and then at center, they'll have Jokic himself. Their small forward spot is wide open for the taking, and Nuggets fans will be hoping that Michael Porter Jr. is the top talent he was before his back injury and can slot in there. If he isn't, then they'll have to choose between Torrey Craig, fellow rookie Jared Vanderbilt, if they want a traditional small forward. Or they could play someone like Will Barton, Isaiah Thomas, or Trey Lyles and play with a player out of position. Whatever their decision is, they'll also have solid bench depth with Lyles, Plumlee, Isaiah Thomas, and Juan Hernan-Gomez to come off of the bench and keep the offense running. They'll be able to run a similar system with these players, and I really enjoyed the signing of Isaiah Thomas, as Denver has a high focus on offense and not defense, and can therefore endure his defensive deficiencies while taking advantage of his three-point shooting and driving in their high-paced system. All in all, I think Denver have the tools around Jokic to go the distance and potentially even make the Western Conference Finals. And then, Nikola Jokic will finally be given the stage he needs to shine and no longer be underrated. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more NBA videos in the future. And let me know what you think of Nikola Jokic in the comment section below.